It is time to start making our Rya knots. So I'm going to start by getting my supplies ready. And you can see on my current loom, I've got purple tabby weave, and I have a closed slot weave of light pink and a brighter pink. Now, in the interest of the principle of design, which we call unity, I am going to start to repeat some of these colors rather than incorporate a ton of extra new colors. I'm going to start by repeating this purple that we used up here. So I'm going to slide this away because I want to cut some lengths of yarn. I'm going to grab some scissors and I'm going to gently wrap around my palm multiple times, not too tight. I don't want to inhibit my blood circulation. So I'll wrap, cut, and then I'm going to carefully cut this off of my palm so that I have lots of lengths of yarn. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and come in to my loom. Excuse me. I'm going to work with one string at a time for the interest of this video, make it more clear for the viewer to see what exactly I am doing. So one piece of yarn at a time, I'm going to come on top of my first two warp strings. I'm working straight on these two strings. I'm going to lay my piece of yarn on top of these two. I'm going to take the right side of it and come over and up through the center. And then I'm going to take the left side of that yarn and come up and over and pull it through. And then I want to make sure that I'm kind of centered, and I'll just tug it up. Not too tightly, but I want to tug it up so I can lock in whatever weave is above it. So I'll tug up. Next, I'm going to go over to the next two warp strings, take my strand of Rya, find the halfway point. Okay, make sure you know where the halfway point, put it in or lay it on top of these two, tuck the right one over the outside and up through the middle and pull it up. Take the left string, go around and up through the center, come up, and then tug it up. We'll continue on. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see from a different view. So here's my entire length of my Rya. Find about the halfway point. Place it on the two strings you're going to be working with. Go around the outside one, tug it up. And go around the left side string and tug it up. Tug, tug, tug. All right, I'm going to keep going. Find the next two. Find the halfway point. Around the outside and up through the center. Through the outside, up through the center. Pull up. And we're going to keep going all the way across. Okay, now that we have that first row, now we're going to go to the second row. The second row is a little bit different because if we go straight on top of here, we're going to end up with all of these open spaces. And as a design component, you may want that, but to create a nice solid weaving, you need to close up those spaces. So we are going to be working with these two strands, okay? So instead of these two, we're going to combine them right here. So we're doing the same thing. This is your right thread or your right warp string. This is your left warp string. And tug it up and you'll see it's going to start to connect together. So let's do right here, these two. around the outside and up through the center, around the outside and up through the center. Keep going all the way across. All right, so once I get the hang of this, you can continue going over and over and over. This eventually is going to kind of flop down. You can trim it however short you want it, but I want to show you how to make this process go even faster. So I want this to be fuller, faster, and you can see I'm getting a little short on Rya threads here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut a few extra because we're going to need a lot more. All right, so this time, instead of just taking one at a time, I'm going to take either 2 or 3. Now, because I want my Rya to be very, very full, I'm going to go with 3 strands at once. Oh, all right, so I'll start on the far left, and I'm going to treat these 3 strands as one strand. So take them all at the same time, wrap them around the outside, come up through the center, wrap them around the outside, come up through the center. See how full this is? Then we'll tug it up. All right, we'll do the same thing, grab 3 more, make sure they're basically centered. Find the next 2 warp strings that you're going to work with. Go around the outside and up through the center, around the outside and up through the center. Tug up. So that's how you make it much fuller more quickly. And you'll go all the way across. All right, and just to lock these really well into place, I'm going to go back and give them a tug. Make sure everything is kind of locked in, otherwise they will come out and you don't want them to come out. So again, just make sure everything is nice and tight. And then again, as I mentioned, eventually when you're a little bit farther along, you can take your scissors and just kind of give this a haircut based on what you're trying to accomplish with your design. I am going to go ahead and keep weaving more tabby weave down the length of my loom.